On the opposite side of the looking glass lies an alternate reality.
Somebody dropped a stink bomb in here.
And in the alternate reality, there are bizarro versions of you and me. And on their TVs, they watch alternate versions of our most beloved movie classics. Are you gonna be much longer, Mike?
No, I think maybe I'm not quite.
Sometimes a director tries to make a film and it doesn't get made. Years later, it gets made by someone else. That is the subject of today's SciFi. Now playing in an alternate universe. 5 films that didn't get made but then got made by someone else. First up, there's Lord of the Rings. The Beatles wanted to do a big screen version of the fantasy adventure with Paul as Frodo, Ringo as Sam, George as Gandalf, and John as Gollum, of course. That is so John. And who did they want to direct it? Stanley Kubrick! He passed, saying the book was unfilmable. They tried to get other directors, but in the end the Beatles movie never got made because author J.R.R. Tolkien refused to give them permission. 30 years later, the project would be completed by the man who made The Frighteners. Number 4, A Clockwork Orange. When Kubrick was adapting the Anthony Burgess novel, he wanted Mick Jagger to star as Alex, with the rest of the Rolling Stones as the Droogs. And who knows, maybe the writer's wife would have been played by David Bowie. You can't do a list of unproduced movies without including Terry Gilliam. He's had a long string of films that never got made. One that succeeded without him was 1985's Enemy Mine. The politically poignant outer space soldier drama was ultimately made by Wolfgang Petersen. And lucky for us, Gilliam was available to make Brazil instead. Number 2, King Kong. Italian surrealist Federico Fellini almost directed the 1976 remake of King Kong. Do you know what it would mean if he had? It means I would have actually seen a Fellini movie by now. And the number 1 movie that almost got made, Orson Welles' Batman! The story goes that in the late 1940s, Welles planned to make the first Batman feature, with James Cagney as Two-Face, Marlene Dietrich as Catwoman, and Welles himself as the Batman. The reason it never got made? It was all a media hoax. It was just a very believable rumor that was started in 2003 on a comic book blog. I feel so cheated. And now I've passed that feeling on to you. Well, that's our show. Thanks for watching. I hope you can go back to living in a world where King Kong was directed by John Gillerman. He's the guy who got the job instead of Fellini.